Finally got a chance to get out there and see War for the Planet of the Apes. I'm, of course, wearing a Coke t-shirt because Coke and apes go together, I guess. Well, you know what, actually there is a semi-truck in the movie that has a Coca-Cola logo on there, and it's got the Santa and everything, so I'm kind of tying it in, yeah. It's unbelievable how good these movies are. You have the first 5 original Planet of the Apes films, which I just went through recently, and the original film is, of course, a classic, 10 out of 10 film. You have the other movies as well, which some of them are good, some of them are pretty bad. I really like Escape from the Planet of the Apes. Then we have the Planet of the Apes, which was from Tim Burton, which I didn't think was that bad, but, you know, everyone kind of hates on it. Now you have this reboot trilogy, or sort of prequel trilogy, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which just has a spectacular screenplay, and it's a really well done story, well paced, just an excellent 10 out of 10 movie for me. You have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which brought some different themes into the mix. I really enjoyed that one. I thought it really got down this idea of there being, you know, the side over here, the side over there, the extremes and the neutrals of the groups, and that one is just a spectacular film with some really great performances. Now you have War for the Planet of the Apes, which I think is even better than Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, because it takes the themes of the last movie and it just energizes it. It just makes it more intense and more important than ever. And this time there doesn't seem to be as many human characters as there was in the past films. We are really starting to focus on just the apes. I also really like that in this movie it continues the mythology of the series, but it's not rushing everything. Like, we're not already at a point where, you know, the next movie would be the original Planet of the Apes. No, no, no. You could still make so many more films, but if they don't, I'd be completely fine with that, because this one really puts a cap to the past 2 films in this film. It becomes almost a perfect trilogy, which it is. It is a perfect trilogy. Andy Serkis is at his best. I know people have said give him an Oscar before. I especially thought he should have gotten an Oscar for when he played Gollum, and it probably should have maybe got nominated for the last 2 Planet of the Apes films, but this one, I think he really needs to get nominated. Like, it is unbelievable. And the effects have just gotten so good. I mean, and they were always good, but at this point, I'm really beginning to think, I can't believe that these are fake. They're CGI animals. They look so real, and they're just done so well, and they have so much emotion in them. I love every second of it, but I'm also in awe of this story. It's a very bleak film. It's really dark. Really kind of grayish colors throughout the whole film. So I guess it's not really the blockbuster film that you usually get during the summer. We got films like Spider-Man Homecoming, which I really like as well, but it's a really colorful movie. It's a movie that a lot of people will like. War for the Planet of the Apes kind of takes a really much darker approach. It tries to make a film that is a war. Like, this is a war movie. I kind of think back to Battle for the Planet of the Apes and think about how that movie was boring. This one is, it actually is like a battle, and your heart is pumping throughout the whole thing. There's also a little bit of a mystery to it. It's a mystery that you kind of can figure out pretty quickly, but but that doesn't really matter. It's the part where Woody Harrelson kind of explains what both sides are and what's about to happen. And this is a great, really powerful scene. It's between basically the 2 leaders coming from opposing sides, and it's a brilliant scene. I just love it so much. And this movie does a couple things that kind of surprised me. Like, I was thinking they were going to go the cliched route, and they didn't. For instance, they introduced this new ape who is played by Steve Zahn. His name is Bad Ape, just because he was called a bad ape many times, which is pretty clever. But yeah, I kept expecting throughout the whole movie that, I don't know why, but I thought, oh man, this guy's gonna turn. Because, you know, he steals their gun and their horse, and then he turns out to be a good guy. He's just kind of on his own. But I was expecting the whole time, I'm like, this is gonna be, they're gonna do that thing where he ends up being the bad guy. But no, he ends up just being a good character, and I really like that. You also have the fact that Woody Harrelson at the end of the movie is kind of in a final confrontation with Caesar, and it's a very specific situation, and it's a situation I've seen in movies before where he has a gun, and I really thought that last second he was going to change his mind and shoot Caesar, and there was going to be a whole different scenario going on. But no, this movie goes with a way more dramatic approach, and it's an approach that worked a lot better for that ending scene. And I can't really think of any problems I have with this movie right now. I can't decide if it's better than Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I really like the script of Rise of the Planet of the Apes just because it's so complete. I almost have to watch them back to back, really see which one's better. I think it's better than Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, just because this is basically Dawn of the Planet of the Apes times 10. Like, and this movie's way more intense. It has way more feeling in it. There was a scene where I was basically gonna cry, so I really enjoyed this movie. If you like the other Planet of the Apes films, you're gonna like this one. If you like war films, you're probably gonna like this one. This movie pushes the limits. It starts testing your main characters. It has a great villain, has great effects, has a really great score by Michael Giacchino, and it has some great new characters introduced, and it just has a really conclusive finale. So yeah, I liked it a lot, and I can't wait to see it again.